Hi guys, I'm Rick. I am one of the backing vocals and one of the other of the two guitarists for 10-Speed Pileup. And this is our quote-unquote rig rundown. I don't know if that's copywritten. This is basically kind of my current setup right now. I still got a lot of progress and work to do on it, but for what I need, this lovely little setup gets the job done. I pull a lot of inspiration from late 70s, mid 80s kind of soundscapes and guitar tones. I'm a huge fan of those styles, so I try to emulate some of that in my setup, which we have here. Let's start with the amp. So this is a bass amp actually. I have a small practice guitar amp that will be changing soon. This is really good actually. I've actually had a lot of fun trying to toy around and kind of figure out kind of how to work around that. But it's got a little extra 15 decibels for extra punch. I like to add a little bit of bass in mid just to kind of fill out some of those missing overtones or whatever. Anyways, pedalboard. This is really cool. I really dig this. A lot of my dad and my brother are actually in this because they're musicians as well. We'll start on this side because this is where it starts, the chain, you said? Right to left?
Yeah.
Cool. Still learning, but we're gonna get there. This is the Astronomer by Matthews Effects. It is my hall reverb pedal. I super love it. You get some really cool kind of wide, spacey ambient tones, kind of like you're way in the far reaches of like some nebula somewhere in the galaxy. It's got two settings, so I have it kind of set to where, let's see if I can plug it up.
Power usually helps.
Power usually helps. Okay, we'll do that. So it has two settings. So I have one that's kind of like just like a small, like slightly larger room that when we practice in, and I punch this setting in, and that's where you get like the big, wide arena high reverb, very wet sounds from that. I really dig it. To kind of add a little bit of dimension to that, I really like to use delay. This is a TC Electronic Echo Brain. It's an analog delay, which I was debating whether or not I wanted to do either analog or digital, just based on what I could research. Turns out, couldn't really see a difference, but I know a lot of people have said that particularly with analog delay, it's a little bit harder to control, kind of like what kind of sound or effect you get out of it. So I took that as a challenge and got the Echo Brain because it is analog. If you're ever at any of our live shows, any kind of those weird, kind of spacey bullshit, that does it. It's a lot of fun. Going on to my two distortion pedals, we'll start with this one. This was my brother's actually at one point. Distortion Factory DF7. This is a really fucking good pedal. It comes with 7 different distortion presets, and then on top of that, you get a full EQ mix. So you get low, medium, and high, plus your level and gain. And then on top of that, you get another dial for your mid-frequency. So that kind of helps open up or close out any kind of those extra mid-tones. So this is really versatile, gets a lot of different sounds out of it. You can even get fuzz, you can get, I don't know, casual distortion, that's a thing. Yeah, but yeah, you know, light distortion, it ranges from all the way like that to like country rock, to even up to like speed metal if you really wanted to kind of set it up for something like that. Then, well actually, I use all that for heavy distortion. Over here is what I use my light distortion for. So this is a Behringer vintage tube overdrive pedal. I think this one was my godfather's. Grew up with a lot of musicians in my life. So these were just sitting in their closets really and just collecting dust, and I haven't cleaned all of it off. But this is really cool. I use a lot for more of our bluesy stuff, like in Bad Luck Bobby, a little bit in what's it called? Lonely Thoughts. That's the other. So just for not quite so heavy, not as aggressive. It's kind of like if we're not trying to thrash or headbang on stage. That's what that one's for.
If we're not mad at the government, he's using that one.
Which we're always mad at the government, so I very
Facts.
rarely use the bearing tray for that reason. And then the last pedal, it's another one of my brother's, is the Bad Dog Chorus. This thing kind of sucks. I have to, just because when I click it, when I go to punch it in on or off, sometimes it doesn't turn on, so I kind of have to fight with it. But I've gotten to the point where I found the right sweet spot just to hit it in. But I keep this really low because this tends to oscillate my tuning way too much, and we like to stay in tune, so I just keep it down a little bit lower.
Nah.
Just to give a little bit of extra punch if I want to add a little bit more of kind of like an 80s sort of. Oh! Okay, and then over here we got my very, very shitty guitar that I got on Craigslist for $100. This is a J Tercer JT300 Stratocaster. It did not come looking like this. I bought it off this girl online who got it to learn, never did, and then when I got it, this strap was actually covered in lace, and this was like super shiny and brand new and squeaky clean, and I just looked even dirtier than I already do. So I was like, it needs to kind of like look like me a little bit. So
Dirty fucking baby.
I aged it. I know a lot of people out there that hate that I did this, but it was $100, and I like how it looks. It needs a lot of work done as well. When I got it, there were some screws missing for the bridge, so you can see that this is being held up with a cigarette butt from 2018.
Rick is hopelessly punk rock.
I'm not hopelessly, it's without choice, I promise you. This isn't the only guitar I have. I will be very soon getting my own Epiphone up here really soon. It's back in my hometown of North Carolina. It's Epiphone SG, and like Dakota's Les Paul, it is solid black. So we are going to be murdered out when that comes up here, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So yeah, this is kind of my very minimalist Econo style rock setup. But it gets the job done, it gets all the sounds that I need to get, and I know eventually we will get bigger, better equipment, and make bigger, better sounds.